In this video, I'm going to discuss battery disconnects, when to use them, what they are, and I'm going to show you an example of it in action. Don't forget to check out the clip at the end of the video for more information on the channel. But in case you don't get a chance to, let me know your feelings. Share it on the video. That means liking, disliking, commenting, and subscribing. Let me know what you think, and that also helps the channel grow too. So I guess the big question is, first, why would you even need to have a quick disconnect for your car to begin with? Well, I'm sure you could come up with a few reasons if you really think about it, but there's two main I could see. And the first is if you have your car parked up, like my Grand Prix, that's right back there. If you're going to have it disconnected for a period of time, or so if you're going to do the whole season, maybe not so much a big deal. But if it's something that's getting parked up, let's say for a whole week, and then I open up on the weekends only, then I'm gonna have to disconnect and reconnect and disconnect and reconnect and put wear onto that nuts and everything like that for your negative battery terminal. Then a quick disconnect is a nice, simple, easy way to just quickly disconnect, quickly reconnect, not even needing to do need tools, and you can just do it nice and quick and easy. The second thing is, unfortunately, if you have a nice car, or any car actually, and you live in a high theft area, then maybe having a quick disconnect is kind of a nice deterrent if you don't have an alarm or anything like that. Then you can quickly disconnect the battery. I mean, the annoying thing is maybe your stereo settings or anything, that all gets reset. So that there is a couple of annoyances with it, but it is a way to save your car if you're worried about it. Let's say you're traveling somewhere, going somewhere where you're worried the car may get stolen, you can just do a quick disconnect on it too. That's another reason for it. Main thing I see for me though is because my car is parked up, that's why I'm using the quick disconnects. Alright, so next up, the next big thing really is to find out what type of battery terminal you have, because you need to know which one to buy. There's the two main types of terminals. There's a top post or side post. And then from there's so many different types of quick disconnects that are available for each one depending on your needs. So first you got to know if you need a top post or a side post. And then aside from that, you also need to double check if there's any limitations, anything that may get in the way. Some batteries have like battery covers or anything like that. Sometimes there's something on top. So check, like for example, look at a 97 Grand Prix engine bay, and you will see that the coolant reservoir sits on top of the battery. So you got to look for things like that. For example, here's a car that has side post terminals. Of course, you're never working off the positive. We'll talk about that later, but right now you can see the negative here. So you can see where it's set up here. You want to check and make sure there's nothing in the way. Sometimes, if right here, you can see there's a bracket that kind of runs over here, but sometimes they have the holdover brackets that go around the top. So some of them, for example, they have these terminals that actually stick out really far out to the side. So you want to make sure that if it's something like that, that any brackets, hold downs, covers, nothing that's going to get in the way and obstruct it, right? Another example here. This car, you can see this is a Chevy Equinox, much more difficult to work. It's got top post terminals, as you can see there, but there's a lot of obstructions, including this ECU that sits on the top. So getting something like this, you want to make sure that it's something that you can, once you open this up, that this terminal, for example, maybe moves out to the side when you do the work, because you obviously won't be able to get anything under here that'll fit and work with the way you need to. So all these things are things to look for. And this here is the Grand Prix. Now you want to be checking, for example, now look, this negative's already disconnected here. You want to be checking and making sure, whereas for example, we looked at that Equinox and there was space at the side, but no space underneath. This one here, for example, it's got the fuse box here. So if you got one that kind of sticks out to the side a bit, well then this wouldn't work. So it's all these different things you got to look for when you're looking for your new battery disconnect if you're in the market for one. Okay. So before we go on, first thing to let you know is that when you're doing these any of these top post ones particularly, of these battery quick disconnects, only work on the negative. And the reason for that, as you all know, is you always connect the negative last. That's always the first to be disconnected as well. Side post terminals, now the ones for the side posts, because the post bolts tend to be the same, you can use it either or, but of course you always put on the negative. That's just kind of a given. And if you don't know that, now you know. But for the top post ones, the positive terminal tends to be bigger than the negative terminal. So for example, when you're looking at the ones that we're going to be looking at today, we're looking at a couple. If you try and force this just onto that positive terminal, it won't fit unless you really open it up and you really have to force it on. That should kind of be the giveaway right there. So know that when you're doing this, you're definitely only going to be using the negative terminal. Now, first I want to show you is just another one that could be for the top post. It's bigger, it's bulkier, definitely won't work for an application like this, but I thought it was cool and you just saw it before, and that's this one here. And that's because it's got this kind of switch, and I like that idea. So when it's hooked up, right, it's a drop switch. I like that, it's kind of cool. However, if you look on the car here, you'll see this can never work. Like this gets in the way, like that gets in the way, like that. The negative terminal can't get past over here, and like that, same thing, this can't reach over here, or if it does, you're on the risk of just bridging over the arcing it over anyways. So something like this wouldn't work, but I thought it was a cool novelty idea. I may use this on a different car or something like that. That was nice. This is the one we'll be using here today. This one works perfectly. You can see it's still got a higher top mount, and it's also adjustable. So for example, let's say you had something that was in the way here, like that Equinox I showed you. This can mount onto it, and then you can mount the terminal on the side, if it's possible. The thing to note is when you're disconnecting these, and I'll show you for a second, is you got to make sure whichever one of these you're buying as well, that the new post has enough flex in it to reach to it. So if this was a car where this was going to have to move to the side, so again, let's use a little bit of imagination here. This is mounted, and then this is going to be on the side like this. So the top post is here, and then this top post has to now move over to the side. Some terminals can bend like that. Some are stiff and they can't. So you have to double check all this as well before you go and buy. So the first thing we'll do before we continue on is we're going to actually just do a set of base voltage. You can see it right down there. So we're just going to attach our positive and negative. Battery's a little low, it's 11.3, but you can see the number there. Next up, we're going to disconnect the negative terminal. If you're going to be doing a service on the battery, might as well disconnect the positive as well. Negative first, then positive, and clean it up. If you're just attaching this on, you should at least still clean up the negative. Now, you do need to know the actual nut size / if it's on the side post, bolt size for your battery terminals. If it can vary from car to car, typically most are 10 millimeter. Some could be as small as 8. I've seen some as big as 12. So, you know, check your car out. But in this case here, this is a 10 millimeter. Okay, we get that off and move it aside. Now I'm going to take a good solid wire brush and just give it a quick cleanup. Get any corrosion off of there or anything like that. Might as well. And if you're going to do the positive as well, good point to disconnect the negative, leave it, disconnect the positive, clean it up, clean up the negative with the positive still disconnected, then put your positive back on. Since I'm just doing the negative, I'm just going to get a microfiber cloth, clean it up there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and first unscrew that. Right, take that terminal off, that post. This one has a washer, we're going to make sure that stays on there. That's obviously what this sits over. So we're just going to go ahead now and install that on here. Check your bolt size. In this case, this is a 13 millimeter. It will vary based on the ones you get. Also, sorry, you'll notice that it's kind of notched. So you want to make sure it's sitting flat on this side, not that side, otherwise it may go on crooked. So make sure it's going on like this. So we're just going to tighten it up. Make sure it's good and tight. Give it a pull. Make sure it's nice and snug. Alright, so now I'm going to take my negative terminal. Again, this will vary based on the car and things like that as well. Every car may be a little different. So I'm going to go ahead now and take my 10 millimeter and tighten it on there. Making sure it's good and snug. And we'll take it, put it right over here. Then I'm going to take our turn notch here. So I've turned it part way. Now we're going to test the voltage before and after. Alright, so we're going to go now. Positive or negative. You see we're getting 0.45. You'll get virtually nothing. I'll go down here. See your voltage. So now if we go ahead and tighten this up. Test the now here. Well, first we're going to test the bottom terminal once again. I'm going to go up here and test the top. You can see you're getting voltage now across the board, right? And of course now if you need to disconnect, you just go in and unscrew. Again, it varies based on your car, but you just unscrew whichever type of quick disconnect. Even if it's something like this, right? You just pop that open, or something like that, you just unscrew it. And then that's it. You don't have to worry about your battery. It's nice and simple and easy to do, especially if you're going to be like traveling and stuff. You don't have to worry about carrying the tools with you. You can just quickly disconnect it, and your car is essentially safe from being stolen. Now, of course, if you have an alarm system or something, it mitigates that, but it's just something to look for. It's a cheap, easy fix. Like something like that is about $12 or something like Canadian. Well, about, I don't know, $10, $9 US. So not too expensive either. This one is a little more, and it's about 20 bucks. So, you know. So with that though, then you're all set, you're all done. You don't have to worry about it anymore, and you're good to go. If this video has helped you out, and you do feel the need to donate or contribute, there is a GoFundMe for this channel. It's in the description. Click the link and donate. I do appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. Now the YouTube stuff. I always love a great feedback. So make sure right off the bat to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Now, if you like something on the channel, definitely like it. Give it that thumbs up. If you disliked it, thumbs down for sure. But let me know why. That's what the comment section are for. And whatever it is, if you like something, then I know it's working. And if you dislike something, then I know something didn't. But let me know why, so I can continue to build a channel and make it better for me and for you. Aside from that, commenting is great too. So if there's something you can do better, something you can do different, any tips for other viewers, I'm all about that too. So make sure to put that in there. If you have a question about something that's maybe not even related directly to the video, leave that for me as well. Other than that, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all next video.